All right, let's see. So we're getting it up live. Come on, there it goes. Fantastic.
It's working, isn't it?
Thank you. It's working. It's working.
So everyone needs to bear with us because this is the first time that we've done this. And I'm here with Amanda. And
Yes,
I'm Candace. So Amanda, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about 92 County Strategy?
Yeah, so thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We are here on a brand new platform. We're going into 2018, and we want to make sure that our services and our information is available to everyone. So we are lucky enough that Candace, she works with Blue Valpo. She's come back time and time again to help us out and teach us about some great things that we need when we're running grassroots campaigns. And at 92 County Strategy, our goal is to make sure that the civic education that's needed to make people move effectively within this environment is there and available when you need it and for every topic you could think of. And so as a volunteer pack that's run by volunteers throughout the state, we reach out to our friends like Candace that has a lowdown on a special topic or tactic, and we beg them to come on and talk to us and teach us how to do it. So Candace is with us tonight again, and we're going over the Action Network, and I'm so excited, and we've got this all figured out and how to get it up on Facebook, and it looks fantastic. Candace, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So hopefully everybody's a little bit familiar with the Action Network, and I think even if you aren't familiar with the name or the brand, which you can see right up at the top of the screen on the left-hand side, you've probably received emails from an organization that's a member of the Action Network. So a lot of emails that we get in Indiana right now are about redistricting reform, and I know there are organizations who are using the Action Network to send some of those messages. And I believe there's some environmental groups who also use the Action Network. The reason why they use it is because there is a free account. It's right there, right in bold red. Sign up for your free Action Network account now. And you can do things like fundraising. There's just all sorts of things that you can do. So I'm going to just click on our tool set, and it'll show you what they can do real quick. So this organization is a nonprofit. It does focus on progressives. It's just for progressives. So if they think that you're not a progressive group, you couldn't get booted off of the Action Network. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it is too. It's a comprehensive online tool set. There's automated emails, so you can actually use this is a platform for storing all of your organizers' email addresses, names, and contact information. Obviously, you could still store them in Excel, or if you're using another data management program or online program for data management, I mean, obviously you can continue to use whatever you want. But this is really great, and you can send mass emails to your group, and I found that it does not end up in spam when it comes from this. So I think that's pretty important. Sometimes MailChimp, if people are pretty familiar using MailChimp, it'll end up in spam.
Yes, I have this problem consistently.
It's pretty bad, actually. It happens all the time.
It really does.
So they have a free account, and we're going to create a new account. I'm not going to show you an existing account because one of the most challenging things with Action Network is just sort of creating the account, getting things set up, and getting they use WePay as the platform for fundraising, processing the online transactions. So you will need to go to a bank and set up a bank account. Most banks expect you to either be a political action committee or a 501c3 or have some organization that'll sponsor you as a fund so that you can set up a bank account. Once you have your routing number, and your account number, you can go into WePay and set it up on the back side, and it'll link direct over to Action Network. They can process transactions once a day. Usually they do it in the middle of the night, like 12, 1, or 2 in the morning. So if you were doing a fundraiser, all of your funds would be available next day, pretty much, with the electronic transfer.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it is very secure, and I find that it's actually very mobile friendly as well. So it's a great way that if you are delivering email campaigns or you're embedding actions like into a YouTube video, or if you're using some code on a website, if your group does have its own website using WordPress or Joomla or any other kind of platform that you're using, you can actually embed a widget in there, and it could have a fundraising button. It could have whatever you want, sign up now. So the data is yours. They clearly state, and this is what I love, it's your data anywhere that you can get it. So they are a progressive partner. They don't look at themselves as a competitor or an adversary. They just really are looking for donations from groups. So if you're a larger group, they do have paid plans, and you can contact them for that. So you can see, here's the features. Email. It's filling out a form. You can cut random lists, send it if you wanted to, or do full lists. I do not believe they have split campaigns. Some people like to run split campaigns. You can run petitions. So that's really great for local organizing, especially if you were going to go to like your county council about something or your city council about something, and you wanted to carry an official petition. You can do some online signatures in addition to your paper signatures that you get. So I think that's a pretty strong piece. Fundraising, they use WePay, and it looks like they picked up Stripe. Stripe's a little bit more expensive than WePay. But you can set up, as you can see in the box there on the left, you can set up different fundraising amounts. You can choose whatever amounts. As the organizer, you can set that up.
Oh, I like that so much.
You can also do letter writing campaigns in there. So you can set up like a letter template and encourage people to go sign, and then you can actually keep track of who uses that template to sign from you. So that's a pretty cool thing. And I've used it a lot for events, whether they're ticketed or not. So if you're having a regular monthly meeting, it's a great way to integrate like RSVPs with your email that's already in there, and it gives you a URL to that custom event. So even if I'm going to create an event on Facebook, I'll still create one here. And then,
now, do you see this as more effective than, say, Eventbrite? Because I know I've used Eventbrite for a couple of things, and it just doesn't seem incredibly effective, especially for a more rural area.
I don't think it's effective in the way, well, in my experience may be a little different. So I'm in the Chicagoland area, and Eventbrite is pretty big here. Okay. So we will pick up a lot of people for events through the Eventbrite campaigns themselves. But Eventbrite, just like everything else, is sort of what you make of it. So this does not have as much robust figures or features as Eventbrite.
Okay.
So Eventbrite allows you to do things. If you know how to do some basic coding, you can do all sorts of stuff inside of Eventbrite that you cannot do with this.
So this is definitely more of a beginner setup. So this is something for people that, like the types of people we're trying to encourage to run for office, that don't necessarily know exactly how to run a campaign or don't necessarily know how to utilize the coding within something like Eventbrite. This would be a great tool for them in place of that.
Yeah, it would be. Actually, it's a great tool for anybody who wants to keep it simple.
Awesome.
So people who run campaigns, if they are a Democrat, they have access to ActBlue, which is a partner organization of Action Network. And it does similar things, except for ActBlue actually, it functions with the van. And so ActBlue does a lot of similar things that Action Network does with events and ticketing and fundraising and things, but it'll directly link into the Voter Access Network. So candidates oftentimes will move to ActBlue, and I'm sure people have probably seen emails coming from candidates or from other officially recognized groups of the Democratic Party. They have access to use that. So maybe your smaller scale candidates, if they're, or if you're just getting started, this is a great tool. But this is a really great tool if you're running a cause or a project or some sort of political action, this is a really fundamental tool to get stuff going. So you can run ticketed events. There are forms. So like if you wanted to collect stories, so maybe you're going to do a petition, but you want to collect personal stories from individuals who maybe experienced something. So like if you were going to organize a campaign to get the bias legislation passed here in Indiana, which is something that we're working on for 2018, we want to have stronger legal repercussions for people who commit crimes that are based on bias. You may want to collect stories from people who have actually experienced bias-related acts. And then you could take that with you to your state legislature, and if you're going to meet with your local legislators, and use those stories to help build a case, essentially. You can also create surveys for your groups, as detailed or as little as you want. So I think it's pretty good. It's it's just a drag and drop form builder. So it's pretty simple to build something in like that. I've not really used ladders. But ladders here, I'm going to bump up for a second here. Ladders, it says design sophisticated automated ladders of engagement for your activists to move through, sending them through customized email based on actions they take. From something as simple as sending activists a series of welcome emails after they subscribe to complex campaign plans, moving your activists from signing petitions to making phone calls to donating with a series of emails is important. So basically it's sort of like, if this happens, then that will happen, and then this happens if another thing happens. So I haven't really used ladders that much. I know that some organizations use it. Those are the organizations you're going to get contacted from almost every day. So,
I see.
Yeah. One of the things that we struggle with as organizers, and I know it's a big struggle, is, we get people, they're comfortable signing a petition, or maybe they're willing to come and talk in a group or on a page about something in their posts, but getting them to take more action is really the key step. So, getting people to come in and start making phone calls for campaigns, because running phone banks is a huge part of getting change. We've been doing so much online phone banking, right? We organize it online and it's all word of mouth. But there's ways, if you have a list, even if it's only 40 people in your group, you can run more strategic phone campaigns by using this, and a ladder would be a step into that.
This is fantastic. I mean, this is indispensable, especially for a local campaign. If you are limited on your volunteers and you're trying to run a small campaign, you're trying to run on a budget. We have a lot of progressive candidates that are now, they want to swear off PAC money, and they really want to get back to the basics of little b democracy and listening to people, and having access to this type of tool set with no charge it's literally indispensable to a campaign.
I agree. So the group feature is just a way to collaborate with other organizations and have a branded presence on Action Network. So you can have them join your group. So it functions like a group in Facebook a little bit. And then event campaign, that's pretty much similar to just a normal event that we already discussed. And then there's reports. So reports are key. If anybody's listened before, I'm a huge data person. So I love to know what's going on with data and how people are interacting with pages and things. So you want to know, like, is somebody really engaging a lot? Well, your data is going to show you that. That person may be someone that you would want to call and reach out to do more, or maybe they can help more. Or if someone who used to be engaged isn't engaging anymore, you can reach out to them and find out, hey, what's going on? They could have something going on in their life, some personal issue. And a lot of times people, it's good to know what's going on with people in their lives and build that kind of connection relationship. So it makes a difference. And then there's a lot of other features. Queries is a way to sort of just go in, and it's a sorting feature, essentially, like we would use in Microsoft Excel. Then your activists, you can actually sign up people as activists in your group. So you can put people's email and their name and contact info in your contacts, but then you can move them over to activists. So once they donate, they become an activist. Once they take an action on your page, they become an activist. So you can find, you know, a history of what they've done with your group. It's just a really great way to see, keep track of the people who've been the most engaged. You can keep track of like, oh wow, look, they did this, and you forget about stuff. So store it here, works better. Files, so you can store files on here, which is really good, especially if you're going to send them out on an email campaign. And you have a dashboard, which we will go through inside of there. You'll have campaign pages, which we'll go through inside the tutorial. Networks I haven't used. That's the hierarchy that links different kinds of groups together. Syndication feature. There are some APIs. Some of the stuff I haven't gotten into because I keep it simple. But I'm going to scroll all the way back up until I can sign up. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and click here to sign up. And you know what?
And so we're starting tonight. You're gonna actually do this for us, like brand new.
Yeah.
You're gonna go from the beginning, like you've never touched it before. So we get to actually see every step.
So one of the things I'm going to do is go set up a fake. I gotta log out of this, but I'm gonna go set up a fake. Google account.
Nice.
So most of the time I like to, it's not going to let me do that. Oh, I hate this. Okay, so I'm going to click use another account. It's not letting me do it. There we go. Create an account. So I like to have a separate account. So for my Blue Valpo group, I have a separate Gmail account. It's free. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to create one I'll just make up one, and I'm going to just use my name. Oops. And I'm going to call it, so one of the groups I'm organizing, getting ready to sort of organize with, both of my kids have special needs. So I'm trying to put together an Indiana Association of Special Needs. So I'm going to put Indiana SNAP, Special Needs Association of Parents.
Oh, I love this.
And I'm going to put a 2.
That way when you make yours,
and just bear with me as I get this set up.
You're doing great. This is a great time. If anybody out there watching in Facebook land has a question or a comment, feel free to drop it in. We absolutely love interacting with our audience. So, and don't forget to invite your friends and share this video so everyone can see that we're putting out some great information and everyone can benefit from it.
So I'm going to go and circle back to the Action Network because my Gmail account's set up, as you can see. They want me to go through the tutorial. I'm just going to close that. I'm not going to do that. And I got my message from Andy at Google. And so I'm going to just put my mom's name. She's not with us here anymore, but that's okay. So Indiana snap2 at gmail.com and my Valpo zip code and another passcode. I'm not a robot. Yes, I agree with all of your free stuff. Select all squares with a vehicle. I don't see any.
How do you don't get the I don't see any ones. Every time I get those, there's a million.
Now I've got one with a million. There, I think I got it. Seriously, they're killing me here with this. Oh, look, they decided I'm not a robot. Okay.
Good for us. Good for us.
So, then you have to log in, and it's telling me it's invalid. I messed up something, probably. Oh, I have to go activate. Sorry. So now I have to go back to my Gmail. And if you see, it did go under promotions. So, yeah, I have to confirm my email address. And then you can log into Action Network. So if you do not confirm, you can't go in and start working on Action Network. So as you can tell, and I'm going to leave the Gmail up because we may need it again. So you get your welcome screen, and I'm going to go through the tutorial. This is where the dashboard normally is right across there, right below where it says dashboard. The start organizing button is a key button to use. I'm hovering over it. You can't see my mouse or my pointer right now, but I am hovering over the start organizing button as I speak, and you can see lots and lots of stuff comes up here. So most organizations use a group. I'm going to create a group. So click here to create a group. You can see it just turned blue from me hovering over it. I'm going to click to create the group because that's really the first thing that you need to do.
Okay.
And it's not going. Oh, my internet's working. I have children streaming and I'm doing this. So sometimes I think the internet might be a little slow.
Just occasionally. I think I have that problem too.
This one's taking a while. Oh, there it goes. So I'm going to call it Indiana Snap. I can't spell. And that's just the administrative title. That's what's going to show up in your dashboard. But I'm still going to call mine Indiana Special Needs Association of Parents. So for people who don't know, there is a lot of stuff happening with special needs, especially right now at the federal level.
Absolutely.
That's not good for kids with special needs. So normally if you wanted to add a banner, image, or a logo, you would click here and you could choose a file, but you can see you do have to have a 1500 pixel wide by 750 pixel, or excuse me, 15 by 15 is actually, I think, what works best. It's a square in the end. It says any height, but I think that a 15 by 15 is what works best. But they're going to scale it down, so it gets really, really tiny by the time you're done. I'm not going to add one right now. So in the group description, I'm just going to do a one-liner here. You can come in and add 500 lines and words if you want to, but I'm going to keep it simple so that when people learn about the group, it's just sort of an overview and, you know, they can get into more details elsewhere inside of the group once it's formed. So, and this will get us moving. And this is not what I'm actually going to use as a description, but this is what's done. And so, two things. And I don't think you guys can see this, so this is a slight problem. I'm going to see if I can scale this up so you can see it. There you go. I had to make my screen a little smaller. So, save and preview. You get a custom URL. I believe that you can send this link. So like if you're working with other people, your allies, they can preview the group before you publish it. This is a really great tool to use. save and preview. And so then you get to see what it looks like. This is what it would look like without an image. And then it would always have, to the right, it always has this, join this group. And so now I'm going to go back because we're going to continue working on this group. So I'm going to go ahead and so you can see we got a pop-up as set as your home page. And so if this is the primary group that you're going to work from, obviously set it up this way. You can always go in and change that in your settings later. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's the only group in here. Okay, I'm going to close that out since we're done. So as you saw, they did a pop-up of another tab. And this group in particular likes to give you lots and lots of tabs. I don't understand why, but that's what happens. So I've noticed I do have to close out of tabs on this one from time to time. So this is what it looks like to go into managing. And right now we have some statistics in there. But we haven't set up the group, so I have to go back to edit group. You can see I just hovered over it with my mouse, and edit group turned the bright blue. And I click edit group, and it's going in slow-mo.
It's them kids on the internet.
It is. I'm going to blame it on them, even if it isn't.
Don't we always?
Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is just go in and actually save and publish it so we can move on and start doing some stuff. It's really that simple. So it's a lot more simple than creating a Facebook page. I would say it's skill level wise. If you can learn how to create a Facebook group, you can create a group on the Action Network. Yeah. So you can also come in and unpublish the group. You can edit its URL. So right now, this is the URL associated with it. And I'm happy with the URL that I have here for this one. So I'm going to keep it. But if you wanted to make yours shorter or different, you get to decide. You can go in and change it whenever you want. So you can see these tabs are gray because we're sitting on statistics. So if you go under actions, we haven't had any actions yet. But this is where you can see a summary of everything that you've done. Emails, we haven't created emails or reports. If there's a discussion on the discussion board, it would show here. You can assign multiple organizers.
There's a discussion board?
Uh-huh.
Oh, the nerd in me just got excited.
That's funny. And it's easy. I mean, it's literally just leave a comment and post, as you can see.
Yes.
So
but it's comments with people that are interested in the things that you're doing, and that's phenomenal. I like it.
Yeah, and all they have to do is join the group to be able to do that, to leave it there, a comment there.
That's wonderful.
So you can change organizers. So if there's another organizer, you have them join the group, and then you can add them as an administrator or as an organizer. So an organizer, as you can see, can create actions sponsored by the group to help you campaign on issues the group cares about. Organizers cannot access the group's email list or the data.
Oh,
administrators,
like that.
Yeah, so it's got a leveling feature, sort of the way Facebook does. Administrators can create actions by the group, and they can access emails and data. And you can actually set up custom permissions in there too. So
this is a really nice way to ensure people that their data is safe too.
Yes.
Because then the only people that are getting it are really just the core people. You can have all kinds of people help you, but they're not going to get that personal information, and that's really nice.
It is nice. People, I mean, we should be concerned about privacy and security. And I think people genuinely are.
I grew up when you weren't supposed to put your real name on the internet. And now Facebook wants your driver's license.
So at any point in time, you could remove a user or you can edit their permissions. So even though I have Sue Shaw listed as an administrator, I could go in and take one of the normal administrator options away if I didn't feel comfortable with that person, or maybe it was something that they weren't going to do. You know, a lot of people like to have a clean admin menu. So if they're never going to launch an email, they're coming in to do reports and organize activists, then unclick the launch email. Then they know that they're never accidentally going to send an email, and they don't even have to be in there. So, and then if you did that, you just click Save Permissions and move on. So, invitations, you can send an invitation to people. So if you already have an email list of organizers, of activists who you're involved with, you can type them in one by one. And so I'm going to type my address in because I want to show you what happens when you send an invitation. So I clicked send invite. I put my email address in, my personal email. Oh, yeah. And so now I'm showing up as an organizer. I could click to make the user an admin if I wanted. So this is just on the organizer page. Okay. And if I wanted to send an email, I just click the email button. And so now I'm in there. I'm going to remove user because I'm going to show you some other stuff as well. So, oh wait, maybe. So on the settings page, allow activists to apply to become organizers, merge activists who change their email address. You always want to do that. So like, there are going to be people who are activists. Maybe they're already in this group and they may not even realize that their info's in this group if they signed up to be part of an email list. You know, their info's in here. But maybe something changed with their email, and then this other group who's also in the Action Network updated it before you. It'll automatically update to your account too when that happens.
Oh, so, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So say like a group like Organizing for Redistricting, they have thousands of people on their email list. If someone changes their email and they find out about it before you do, but it's the same person, they're going to recognize that it's the same person. Action Network does, and they update their email address to all the other groups that have signed up to have this. So,
oh, that's wow.
So you can also set up defaults, and I highly suggest doing this. So I'm going to put my name in there as a group leader, reply to where your activist would reply. So I'm going to put indianasnap2@gmail.com. So this would be a reply address. If you're sending a standard letter, email letter, all this stuff would get set up for you automatically. You just set it up once and save it. So pretty simple. And I think it's pretty efficient to have it set up this way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do what they say. Thank you for taking action.
I'm just watching. I am enthused watching you just go through and run through this so we can see how to do it. So I promise I'm here. I'm just learning.
So now we've got that set up. So, oh yeah, this is a great thing. So right now I'm just going to scroll back up because I want you to see I'm in the settings page. This is where the meat and potatoes are of setting up your group. So, or the beans and rice, whichever way you want to look at it. But you can set up, sorry, I'm scrolling up and down a little, but you can set up a recurring donation receipt email. So, because they have a recurring donation setting in here once you go into fundraising campaigns. So you're going to want to send people, if they're signing up to send you $20 a month for a year, or even if they send you $5 a month for a year, right? $5 is somebody's really expensive Frappuccino, or it's like skipping your juice at the juice bar, you know, one juice at the juice bar. It's actually probably two juices is $10. So, you know, you get to it, people oftentimes will look at recurring donations that way for a cause that they like. So, you know, you can set up an automatic response if they have questions. And it just lets them know that you're you know, that they have a means to contact you if they have questions, and it lets them know that the contribution actually went through
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, the way it was supposed to. It's basically a receipt. It's evidence that happened. So I'm going to click Save and Test Receipt Email. And it should show up here in my Gmail. I don't know if you guys can see that. I've got, yep, in promotion. Sue, your recurring contribution has been processed. Here's your receipt. So it functions like a receipt. And now I'm back over on managing the group. I've got my defaults. I've got my recurring donations. If there's a failed charge, here's a default one for this. So basically, you're just setting up a bunch of basic email responses. And you're going to want to do that. So I'm going to just click Save Changes on this.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically teaching the computer system what you want it to do in different situations. That way it can handle the influx for you.
Yeah. You don't have to do all that work. You can focus on other important things like getting people engaged and involved. So
it's a robot secretary.
It is. We all need a bot secretary. So I'm going to start with one other thing. I'm going to view group and see it just opened in another link. Do you notice all the tabs I have open? So
I personally like a lot of tabs because I jump back and forth a lot, but I do know that can get really annoying.
Okay, so now we've got the group set up. So you can do things here, create some actions while you're actually already in your group. You can see the blue going over here. You can do all of that stuff. Or you can use the Start Organizing tab, which I like to use. So I'm going to go under, I'm going to go under People and click the plus sign. And I'm going to add myself because this is where you're going to see, even though I was signed up as an organizer, I was not listed as an activist in the group itself.
Okay.
So this is where you come in and you just start putting basic info in. I suggest putting Indiana in and their email. And what is that for? We're going to leave that. And now I'm going to click Save and Add Activist. I'm going to show up in here. So this pop-up, do you see that? This activist has an Action Network account. Therefore, you will not be able to edit their personal data, though you can still add source codes, custom fields, and tags. So their data will stay updated this way.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, so it even filled in Valparaiso. You can add a source code. You can add custom fields. So I'm going to click that. Again, when you get that pop-up, you have to click it twice. And so then you can see I'm in Indiana's 1st Congressional District. I'm in a Porter County. You know, it tells you all sorts of things about where they vote. Even you're going to get information about where they live, where they vote.
Wow. It's like your very own little van.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It keeps some good info.
It is. And especially if it's something that you like, obviously, everybody that's watching, you realize this is a brand new organization. So it's not full of all the beautiful data that us nerds would love to see. But if you get something like this and you use it consistently, say through, organizing and deciding to run for office, and then throughout your beginning, of your campaign while you're recruiting volunteers and things, and then you get into, say, a primary, you come out of that primary and you have a huge network to draw from to take you through the general, and the work's been done. It's right there for you.
Yeah. And it's complete. It's all something you can just download. What I like it for too, with the fundraising, which we're going to head there next after I show you one more activist feature. What I like it for with fundraising is it collects all of the necessary information that you need if you have a political action committee, whether that's for a campaign for a candidate or like the kind that I have with Blue Valpo, where we're trying to get progressives elected and we're going to spend some money on mailers and maybe some research to help the candidates that are running.
Right.
It keeps track of all of those donations, and you can put them right into your campaign finance reports. So
wow.
You get all of the names and it's going to store all of that information for you. So it does make campaign finance reporting a little simpler too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I could add a note about an activist too. And then it keeps track of donation history for them. And I'm going to click on Start Organizing. Amanda, I'm going to add you if that's okay.
No, go ahead. No, I mean, I would love to be part of this group. I also have a special needs son, so.
Interesting.
Yes.
I didn't know that. So and seriously, we don't have an option. When you have kids with special needs, you really learn quickly that you have to become an advocate and an activist for your kids.
Absolutely.
So, what email should I use?
I guess still the old one, amanda.vinup.null@gmail. Until I get
is it 2 P's or 1 P? VINUP.
Yeah, VINUP.
Okay. Amanda.vinup.
.null, NOELL, @gmail.
Okay.
But just so everybody knows, my name's going to be changing on every email you receive from me soon.
So I'm going to add you because I want to see if you're already in here. And you are. That's what I'm saying. So you're already in here. It's populating information on you for me. I'm going to go back in and click Save Activist now that I got that pop-up, the yellow pop-up.
Holy cow.
And so I'm going to click Save Activist. And then it says you're in Indiana's 6th Congressional District. Your State House District is 68. Your State Senate District is 43. You're in Dearborn County and you speak English.
Well, apparently it's not up to date on my Duolingo level, but yes. It's good to know some things are still private. So,
but it's the only thing it has is basically it's associated with your email. So you're getting emails from some organizations that are already using the Action Network. Essentially, that's all that means.
Yeah.
And so it does help other progressive organizations not have to duplicate info or put in bad info as well. So I just wanted to show you that because I think that's something interesting. So now I'm hovering again over Start Organizing, and I'm going to go to Actions, and we're going to go make some money. Because seriously, if you don't have money, you're not going to be able to send a postcard, or you need money to buy a phone for phone banking. So even if you're just using UMA, you still have to have your $10 monthly fee. So, this is an important piece as we do have to fundraise. So I'm hovering over fundraisers and you can see the plus sign came up and then there's the menu sign, but we don't have any fundraisers, so we can't view all. It'll just say nothing. Okay. So we're going to add a new one. And we're going to call this... I don't know. Startup.
The starting line.
Start up. There we go. The starting line. See? And then just going to fill in the blanks here. It gives you some defaults. So you'll see you've got these tabs, little boxes. One's $5, one's $10, one's $15, one's $20, another one's other. I suggest leaving other because that's where they can fill in their own amount.
Okay.
So if somebody wanted to send you $1,000 and you didn't have the option, they could.
Oh.
If you're
so sad.
Right. So some people maybe all they can afford is $2 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about 35 cents of that's going to come out for the processing fees. But I think I have to double check on those low dollar contributions. But $24 a year, maybe that's all someone can afford, but they're going to give that $2 or $1.
But that's, I mean, $24 a year, you know, people, sometimes I think people don't think that $5 a month or $2 a month or whatever is enough. But really it is, because a lot of people, you know, if I have to go print, say, like business cards for one of the organizations I work with, it's $10 plus shipping for 500 business cards.
Yeah.
You know, if you can donate $24 a year, you've paid for a few months worth of business cards for that organization. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is.
Yeah, it is a lot. And the recurring donations is really where you're going to want to sit anyway, as an organization and as an organizer. So say maybe I didn't want to do 5, 10, 15, and 20. I'm going to do the 5. I'm going to get rid of this 15 because I don't like the $15 amount one. So this is the little weird thing with Action Network. So say I wanted to put $50 in, and I click the add amount option. It does not, for whatever reason, does not let me organize. So for anybody who is just insane about their numbers functioning in a left to right order, and, you know, other needs to be on the right of the 50, this is how my world functions and operates in my brain. So I don't like the way that looks. So now I'm going to remove that one, and I'm going to add other.
I'm so happy that you can remove it and re-add it, though, because that would drive me insane.
Come on, it's not.
And if I went on someone's page to do that and I saw it like that, I would think that it was just not well thought out.
Right. So little details matter.
Yeah, for me they do, for sure.
I think they matter to most people. And
I noticed that if I post something and I have a typo in it that I miss, it won't usually get a lot of traffic. But if I fix the typo, it will get more traffic. I think people's eyes just naturally kind of ignore things that aren't normal or typical from what they're used to.
That's true. So you have a choice in making recurring contributions optional, or they can make all contributions recurring, and they can set their own recurring frequency. So maybe someone wants to give $1 a week. That's $50, $52 a year.
Yes.
You know, someone who gets paid every week, this is a great option.
Yeah.
And I can tell you for a fact, there's some businesses that have PACs because legally they can, and they're taking straight out of their employees' paychecks every time they get them.
Oh, wow.
So there is no reason that we don't look at this and talk to people and frame things in the perspective of, this is, you know, when do you get paid? Let's just set up a recurring, and we're going to put you on a budget so it fits in. You know, everybody can contribute a little bit of something. So, you know, even if you don't have the fanciest, biggest job that's paying you thousands upon thousands of dollars, which, to be really quite frank, most of us progressives do not have those kinds of jobs. So we're all either working the gig economy or just trying to really move forward with things that we enjoy doing in life, and or just trying to get by to pay for the things that we enjoy doing in life. That's how most of us look at it. So you can remove recurring contributions altogether if you wanted to as well. But let's see.
Why not allow the option?
Well, I think you should. But
yeah,
you know, if it's an option, maybe you're doing a fundraiser for one specific thing that has a deadline.
Well,
you wouldn't want to set up recurring. So like if you're doing a final push on a campaign right before November election, you're probably not going to want to set up a recurring contribution.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it like that.
Because you're going to be closing the campaign out.
See, you're thinking about it from a campaign point of view. I'm over here like, how can we use it to help people? Like, I'm looking at it from a different point of view. But yeah, thinking about it in that way, definitely.
So, and you never know. I mean, there could be thousands of things. Maybe they're fundraising for one specific thing. You know, maybe they're fundraising to help, I don't know, to help someone who is experiencing housing insecurity. You know, there are groups on here that do that, and maybe they're fundraising for one specific thing, and it's a deadline, and once it's done, it's done. So you wouldn't set up a recurring contribution for a fundraiser like that.
Right.
But if they're going to fundraise to your group specifically, yeah. So you have to, this is an important piece here that I'm going to do. You have to select a recipient. And I know it sounds really weird, but you have to put your group name in. And I don't understand why, but you do. And let me see if it's going to let me. Here we go. Actually, it's in a drop down. I just messed up here. See, this is where I forgot. I thought you had to type your group name in. But you could set up actually on here, you could set up a fundraiser for another group. So like if we wanted to set one up for Sierra Club, let's see if Sierra Club's in here. So there's Sierra Club. We could set up a fundraiser for Sierra Club.
Oh, wow.
Once you're in here. So just to show you that it doesn't have to be for your group. You can fundraise for other groups too. So you could actually fundraise for yourself in here as a candidate. That's what you would do. But we're going to do Indiana Snap. We're going to click Add. And so there it is. And I'm going to add a creator over here to the right. Do you see that? That's really critical. But we're going to come back over here to the right in a minute. So this is what, when someone who wants to give money, when they come to the page, this is the form. So you can add, right now it's got first name, last name, email, billing address, city, state, zip code, credit card number, month, year, and security code. You can add additional form questions, which I do recommend. So you can do some, I don't have any pre-builts. Why is it not letting me do what I want to do?
Because we're live.
That's probably why. I don't know why. It's not even letting me click in and type anywhere. That's odd. So I'm going to skip that until I can figure out what the heck's going on. So I apologize for that. So we're going to just leave the form blank. It has everything in it that you need right now anyway. Okay. And you'll see, help us keep the lights on. When you are a free account, Action Network does put their fundraiser on your fundraiser pages, but it's always below. Okay. And then the contribute now, which they have to click. And so now I'm going to scroll back up to the top. We're going to work on the right hand side. So you can choose, and this will show up on their page. You can have a slider. You do not have any control over that slider. So if you don't want it, you have to remove the goal slider, and then it goes away altogether. Okay. So you only have two options. It's contributions or amount raised. So if you haven't made any money, it's going to say 0. Not generally the best idea. You can add an image. I suggest doing that if you're going to link over to Facebook, because that image is what populates into Facebook when you put the link in. If you make a post with this, it'll be that image. And so the image size is different from that one that we were just talking about. And they want a 240 pixel height and 600 wide. And it's all JPEGs. Okay. No other options. So then you can come here and say, help us fundraise for our first action at the Statehouse. That's all I'm going to put. Then you want to select a creator. So you want to put a person so that they have an idea that there's a person behind it, and then who's sponsoring it. So, and then save and go to next step. Little blue box in the bottom. So this is important. This is the crux of getting your money from an organizer or from a donor into your bank account. Is you have to have a third party be the processing agent. Okay. And it costs money. I've not found any free. If somebody finds a free one, please message it to us, because I would love to know it. But
right.
there's nobody doing it for free. Nobody's doing payment processing for free.
No.
So this is what they do. A 30-cent fee on each transaction plus 3.9%. So on that $2 donation, it's going to be probably about 36 cents.
Wow.
It's an independent party, so they have a safe, secure means of transacting between,
right.
you know, the card that the donor's using and your bank. So unfortunately, I am not going to be able to go through all the steps because obviously this
doesn't have a bank account.
It doesn't have a bank account. But going into WePay or Stripe is pretty simple in setting it up.
Anybody that's used PayPal is probably pretty familiar with setting up a bank account inside of a third-party payment system.
So the thing that you have to do here is you have to have, when you set WePay up or Stripe, I've used both before. I've used Stripe a lot with my business. So WePay I've used with this kind of stuff. But you can, so like you can see with WePay, you could set it up now and enter your bank details later. I'm not going to do that because we may not have a bank account with this one and I don't want to trigger it getting shut down. So Stripe allows for international. You have to enter the details now. There's just some basic things. What I love about WePay is that if there's a refund, it's free. They give the fee back. There's no charge. You can also manage multiple groups in WePay, so it's a lot more friendly for people who have multiple financial transactions.
Yeah.
So what you would end up doing is, I'm going to pick WePay because I like it. So you have to create a WePay account. It's going to lead you through this, and for some reason, this is the only time that they don't open new windows. Remember how they were opening multiple windows?
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to want to probably open a window after you get this set up on this screen, which I'm not going to do here, but you just fill out all the basic stuff. You're probably going to want to open another screen and actually go to WePay and then log in and finish your account. Because if you don't activate your account with WePay, then it becomes a problem. Because what you have to do with WePay is go in and activate. Once you get your bank account, you go in and log in. You need to have your Action Network open and your WePay open when you're entering your bank account to make it work properly.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason they want both open.
Okay.
Okay. So that's really it. It's really the last step in setting up a fundraiser is to get that set up. So I'm going to go back over here to fundraisers. We have one in here, so I'm going to click on the list feature.
Okay.
And there it is. So this is when you have an action. It's sort of small. Once you get used to seeing it, it's okay. This is very similar, to me, it looks very similar to the way MailChimp looked like 8 and 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can come in and say, we've set this fundraiser up. It's set up pretty much the same as what we want to do for another one. You could duplicate it. Or you could go in and edit it. If you wanted to change some stuff in an existing fundraiser that's running, including shutting it down. So lots of stuff that you can do there with the fundraiser. And then what you get, so I'm going to have a problem because I can't make it live.
Oh, yeah, because not having the WePay set up.
Yeah. Once the WePay links, you go to another page and there's just some basic stuff that you fill out on the back side, and then you click that you launch the campaign. So you could launch it on one day or another day or whatever. You get a custom URL when that campaign launches. And so then you would want to gather that URL. You could always go in and find it again if you needed to. But you would gather that URL and use it to fundraise on social media and spread it far and wide as you possibly can.
This is fantastic.
So one of the other things I would suggest doing is, and I'm going to see if I can just drop this in here. Bam. So can't do that. Let's pull that off. I'm going to go to Facebook. Hopefully you guys can see this. But I'm going to go to 92 County page since we're hosting. And obviously, if you're going to run a fundraiser, create an event on Facebook as well. And anywhere, and if you have your Facebook page linked to Instagram, that's a great thing too. Instagram's not the hottest at organizing people, you know, but it is a great place to put pictures and things like that. So also you're going to want to be able to link it over to Twitter. You can take the URL when you get it from Action Network. You can take that URL and you can go in and drop it into Twitter posts too if you're doing some organizing on Twitter.
Absolutely.
So the only other fundraiser thing in here are ticketed events. So you can create a ticketed event. It functions very similar financially. It functions very similar to the way that the donations do. You can create different ticket types with different costs. You set your WePay up. You launch your fundraiser. You choose the recipient that it would go to. So obviously we're going to pick Indiana Snap. Then you come up here and you can have a goal slider just the same. You can do number of tickets sold or the amount raised. You choose your creator. And then it's going to give us the same message that we have to set up WePay. But once you have WePay set up, you could go in and it would finalize it for you on one more page. So
I really like this.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to use. Once you get in and do these initial steps to set up your account, really the big thing you're going to do is just fall back on this start organizing page.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is fantastic. This is a lot more simple than I had expected it to be, but a lot more in-depth as well. Mm-hmm. But it's not... Sometimes you get into some of these things, and especially if it's something you've never done before, it looks like you're looking at a foreign language. But this is very user-friendly.
I think it is too. So, and you can do so much with it that we're not going... Tonight we were here to talk about fundraising, so we're not going to go into a bunch of it. But, you know, all the other stuff. But you can take that fundraiser if you've entered your list. So you click Start Organizing, and remember how I showed you to put activists in? Because you're not going to fundraise without activists, right?
Right.
Go in and create an email. Put the link for the fundraiser in there. You can actually create an email in your fundraising page that will have sort of a customized look to let all of your activists know about your fundraiser.
Oh.
So then you're setting your fundraiser up on an email campaign and you're grabbing the URL and putting it into Facebook and Twitter. And it's just a really great way to cross over and use the Action Network as sort of the landing platform for all of it.
And it's trusted. It's something that people are used to seeing.
Mm-hmm. It is very trusted.
Yeah, I noticed that when we started doing with the clinic, we used PayPal for donations, and it was people were so comfortable with using it. It was a lot more simple than some of the other options we had. So I think as far as activism and progressivism are concerned, this is definitely the way to go.
I think so too. So I'm going to show you one last thing. Logging out is not on the left. It's clear over here. I don't know if you saw what I just did. I went past the start organizing to the circle, and then you get this. And you can edit your profile, edit your subscriptions. You can change, remember how I designated the group as the primary group. You can change that here. You can go to your dashboard. So I'm going to circle back to dashboard because if you log out and come back to Action Network, it's going to bring you to your dashboard, which looks different than what we were just in.
Okay.
So this is the dashboard. If you have multiple groups, they're going to all show up here in your groups on the top.
Okay.
You can keep track. It's sort of an overview page. You can keep track of your emails and how many people you have on your emails. You can keep track of your fundraisers.
I like this.
It just gives you that overview. You can see who unsubscribed from your emails. You can have one click to start a fundraiser. Take a look at all your actions from here. Take a look at your emails, and that's it. So this is what the dashboard looks like.
This is a really nice place to keep everything together, especially if you're trying to see. For me, a lot of times, my problem is I can't remember which events I've emailed about because I'm trying to email. I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, this is my 3-hour window to send out a bunch of emails. And every once in a while, I'll think I sent something that I didn't. So this is really nice. It gives you the ability to keep track of all that, and I like that in a more streamlined fashion.
It definitely does. So the one last thing, and I can't really show you because we don't have multiple groups in here. If you were to have 2 or 3 groups under your profile, then you can only have one designated as your primary group. So if you were to log in to go do some work for your organizing and you get sent to your dashboard, all those groups would show here. But the default group that you set up in the beginning, if you come up and click Start Organizing, it's going to be for that group. So if you have another group, you have to go in and click Manage to be able to organize in it.
Okay, so if you are a mover and a shaker and you're doing a lot of things, it's important just to be clear on which one you're in.
Yes. Because you don't want to send, that would be really horrible. And I certainly hope people would take time to do some due diligence and ensure that they weren't sending from the wrong one. But sometimes that can be a little confusing. I've noticed with some other people who had 2 groups that they were organizing for, or 3, or more. So sometimes you may have a main group and a subgroup that organizes in different ways, or maybe you're in an environmental group and you're doing a women's rights group, and you're one of the key organizers on both of those. They're both going to show up in there. You have to choose one as your primary. And you could have 50 groups in here, and one would still be your primary group. So that's sort of just a weird thing about the Action Network. It defaults, when you click Start Organizing, it defaults to that primary group. So, and you can see down on the bottom bottom left-hand side, I don't know, you can see the current default Indiana Snap. You can change that by clicking there, and you could change it if we had another group in there. So, but we don't right now. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have for everybody tonight. So hopefully it helps you get thinking about ways that you can fundraise online.
Absolutely. This is great. I hope anybody that was watching tonight, anybody that has viewed this later, we've had a great turnout this evening. Let us know if you have questions, if there's something that you would like Candace to clarify, or if you get into the Action Network and you're having trouble with something, if there's a specific topic that we didn't go over tonight, because obviously fundraising is not the only option. If there's something that you'd like us to get into tonight that we didn't get into, just let us know. We'd love to go over it. So, Candace, thank you so much for joining us again on the Activist Hour. I can't thank you enough. You are such a wealth of information, and you just have taught us so much in the last year, and I cannot wait to see what we do coming up in 2018.
Same here. Thank you for having me. It's been good to get to know you better and hopefully help some other people get organizing, because we've got a lot of work to do and we're going to get it done. And this is the way that we get it done. So
that is for sure. All right, Candace. Well, I look forward to it. And those of you that are tuned into us, don't forget to tune in January for our next episode of Activist Hour. We're going to be going over Robert's Rules of Order. So when you go to your local meetings, you can make sure that you can make your voice heard in the most effective way possible. So tune in next month and have a happy holiday.